So, okay, cool. Here we go. You just have to do something. You just can't resist. You just like
I do.
I want that break in the audio because it's a visual indicator when I go to edit things. And Trey's just like, I got to screw this up somehow.
That isn't me, man. I've got to screw this up somehow. I got to throw a monkey wrench. Got to play a traitorous. I got to do something.
You are definitely synonymous with traitorous around here. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages. It's episode 26 now of On the Button. Trey's face is in his hands. It's been a year.
Have you just given up on the countdown now? Like, I just ruined it for everybody?
Yes,
there was no countdown.
There's no point in doing a countdown because you're just going to ruin it, Trey. So I've just surrendered the whole idea. I'm just like, no, you know what? Yeah, you win. You win.
We just stare at each other blankly for a moment. I'm waiting on the countdown, and then you're just ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
We can't have nice things because of you. So that we just can't have nice things. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Okay.
We've been
I'll have to find something else to break.
52 weeks of podcasts, Trey. We made it to a year. How about them apples? How about that?
We almost made it to a year, and then we ran Ian off. We've decided that Ian is no longer part of this. We've fired Ian. No, the truth is Ian died.
He probably wishes he had died the way he sounds like
sounds like he feels terrible.
He sounds like he feels terrible. Ian is sick this week, ladies and gentlemen. He's fighting you guys told me bronchitis? Something awful. Something upper respiratory nasty.
Yeah, bronchitis is not like a particular disease. It just means your chest is screwed up.
Okay, yeah. So whatever it is.
It's a description of symptoms is what it is. It's
there
not
you
a particular bug.
Whatever it is, it does not sound enjoyable. And he told us earlier today, he was like, no, I'm going to suck down a bunch of drugs and I'm going to be there. I'm going to do it. And then about 3 hours before recording time, guys, I feel like crap. This is not going to happen. And I'm like, I'm not surprised, but go take care of yourself, man, because that's more important. So Trey, we're rolling without Ian tonight, but we've got
when this is in shambles. When this is in shambles and you and I don't know what to do, and we pause waiting for Ian to jump in with whatever snarky comment or retail story he's got, then everybody knows that this is Ian's fault.
There you go. We'll just blame Ian. Ian. So go for it, man. You had this whole thing. You were ready to go. You were ready to start off, and then you got torpedoed.
I did. So I've had a growing feeling in the back of my head that we've, in the last several episodes, we've rehashed the same things a little bit. We've been, not that we've been negative exclusively, because we always try to offer suggestions, not just this is a problem, but this is a problem, and this is what I would do to fix it. But eventually, even that gets a little, okay, guys, move on. Talk about something else. We do like the game. We have a podcast about the game. We play every week. We enjoy the game. So I don't want this to just be a negative, the game sucks, blah, blah. I don't want it to be that. So my plan was to start this. Today was going to be fresh. I was going to talk to you guys. We were going to be like, hey, we're going to, all right, we have all that stuff about the rarities and the overprinting and stuff. We can acknowledge that exists, and we can move on, and we can focus on the good points of the games, at least start spending more time with that. And FFG and Asmodee wouldn't let me do it. I tried. I was set to do it.
I'm so glad you're doing this segment, because if I did, I don't know that I would be able to avoid vitriol and cursing. But do continue, please.
Well, so they have Galactics the last weekend, right around the last weekend of July. It's a big thing. We had one of our bigger episodes was hearing about how Ian fixed it for him when we went up there.
Ian and I went last year. We missed you.
Then that's the thing. Like we got the notification the tickets were going to go on sale, and I'm like, all right. I've talked to my wife about it. I'm like, I want to go. She was like, all right, can we afford it? I was like, yeah, we can afford it. She was like, cool. Have fun. Go play with your friends. Just be home before the street lights come on. No, but So they set it all up, and I'm sitting there looking through it. This is way more expensive than any get in the building tickets that I'm used to spending on things. I'm used to, $50, $100. But I was like, all right, if I'm going to go, I want to get some of the nicer stuff. I'm a collector. I like collecting all of the promos, and I got to watch when you and I did that broadcast. I got to watch the winner with his plastic base, Cody. He had his plastic base, and my envy juices were flowing. But I didn't have a plastic base, and I need a plastic base.
Okay.
And so I'm all set. I'm gonna spend the money and get that ticket for the plastic base. So they were like, cool. The 17th, 10 o'clock Central Time. This stuff goes on sale, and this is 2026, and we have computers now. And computers in this day and age, they can be scheduled to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So you can like set up a computer. It's crazy. You can set up a computer so that you don't have to touch anything. You can
Pretty cool,
I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna sleep in. I'm gonna let this thing kick over and happen when it's supposed to happen. Apparently, Asmodee is stuck in the 80s, and they run this on IBM XTs or something because they can't do that. They didn't have the ability to do that. So it's just all of these tickets were supposed to go live at 10 o'clock Central Time, US Central Time on the 17th. And I was set. I'm sitting at my computer. I have finished my meetings at work. I am like, I'm going to buy these tickets. I'm in line, not line, but I'm ready to log in.
You're waiting for the buttons to appear to do the thing.
I'm waiting for the buttons to appear. I want to give you my money. Boom. 10 o'clock comes. 10:01 comes. 10:05 comes. Log in. Nothing. Hey, nothing changed. It's still, hey, at 10 o'clock on the 17th, all this goes live. Well, I'm like tapping my watch. It's not live. And then 10:15 showed up, and then 10:20, and then 10:25, and then 10:30. And I'm a grown ass adult, and I have stuff to do in my life. So I had to get up and leave. I had an errand to run. I had to do something. I don't remember what it was, but at 10:30, after 30 minutes late of them not turning it on, I had to get up and leave. I got up and left. And then I came back. I'm like, cool, I will check and I will log in. And I went to log in. Hey, the tickets are on sale. It's 11:30. Everything is sold out.
Well, okay, hold on. Let's be clear.
Everything I want is sold out.
There we go.
All of the good stuff is sold out.
The high tier ones with the extra loot and the fancy bonuses and stuff were just gone.
We're just gone. So you had to camp and just deal with them screwing up the internet again. I don't know how they keep doing this. And I'm furious at this point because Asmodee has once again. This is the part where you don't avoid the cursing part of it. This is once again where I need something stronger than screwed something up. And I want to go.
I'm going to go back to a phrase I used earlier, Trey. This is why we can't have nice things. Now, they dealt with some of this last year, but not to this extent, right? Like last year when Galactic's tickets went on sale, they went on sale when they said, because I was there, because I got in line very quickly. I bought my fancy VIP badge for last year and got my confirmation. It took me, 3 or 4 minutes, whatever it was. And then within probably about 10 minutes, all the VIP tickets for last year were sold out. So there was an expectation going into this year, at least for me, that all of the various VIP and premium VIP, whatever they call it now, we're all going to sell out fairly quickly, right?
That's fine.
The loot is there.
Scarcity?
Right. Agreed. But like you, I am a grown adult. I'm sitting at work. I'm actually in a meeting when this thing ticks over at 10 a.m. Blessedly, I'm not running this meeting, so I'm kind of on my phone, kind of waiting for this stuff to update so I can quickly get in there and get it done. And it doesn't update. It just doesn't. And so like you, I'm like, all right, well, I put my phone down and go back to my meeting. And about 5 minutes later, I look and it's still not there. And I keep checking. And finally, by about 10:30, now I actually have to participate in this meeting. And I'm like you, like I can't check anymore. And by the time I finally get back to my desk and meeting's over and I open up my laptop and everything, and it's now 11:15, like you, all the stuff that I would have spent money on is gone. Now, I'm probably still going to go to Galactic's. I've already got a hotel reservation. I did that over the holidays back when the Venetian was running some kind of sale. But it is irritating, right? Because it's just like you said, this is kind of basic functionality, and you'd think that this would be easy. We had some very fixable issues with Galactic's last year, and I want to believe that those are going to get fixed. But this fiasco, even though it is relatively minor in the grand scheme of things, does not engender a lot of hope, does it?
I mean, my owning of the promos that I own is not a small thing in the grand scheme of things. Me getting screwed out of being able to buy and get the promos is
so.
I mean, obviously, it's not on the scale of like life and death, but
no, I will say that the secondary market remains pretty healthy for those. Like I just sold my VIP bases from last year. I wasn't playing with them, and I realized, I'd rather put them in the hands of somebody who'll use them. It's fine. I'm not playing them. So you will be able to find somebody, if you want the plastic bases, I promise you there will be somebody that will happily take your money in exchange for them.
Well, they will take my money, but
yes. But you won't. But for me, like what I enjoyed last year about the VIP badge was you get into the hall a little earlier. That was handy. I really enjoyed the breakfast. I got to sit with John Leo. We talked about that on the podcast. There were some perks. This year they're doing the fancy high end one had a designer draft. They're going to do a draft with the design team with the people who have that level of badge. That would have been cool. Mm-hmm. So for me, some of it is the experiences that come along with the badges, and for me, it was less about the loot.
Well, yeah, I mean, I also enjoy like there's a whole bunch of things. So yes, yeah. I'll be able to buy. I mean, I can go buy anything, but it's going to cost me significantly more, and I'm also not going to get all the other things that came with the VIP, all because they demonstrated a level of incompetence that is. It's not shocking because it's Asmodee. They demonstrated a level of incompetence that is not something you would expect out of a modern entity on the internet in 2026 who doesn't just make a habit of screwing things up.
But Trey, there's more.
There's more. Okay. So and I've calmed down a lot since I had that moment.
Yes, you guys should see the Discord chat.
I've calmed down a lot, so this is me less demonstrative about how disappointed I am with Asmodee's ability to run their presence on the internet. But when I'm sitting there, I'm staring. I got in. I'm staring at the page, and it says they're sold out, and I'm like, all right, do I even still want to go? And at this point, I'm probably still going to go. At that point, I was like, I don't know, It's a lot of money. This is a lot of money to spend to go and not get the thing that I wanted to get. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, do I want to do this? So I had like logged in as myself. I had clicked a couple of buttons, but I hadn't actually followed through with it yet because I wasn't sure I actually wanted to go. So I walk away. I'm like, but and now that I don't have to beat a crowd to get to this, I can just order this anytime. I'm not under any compunction to order it now. So I didn't spend the money. They don't have any of my money for this now. And a little while later, I got an email, which is one of the things that people do on the internet is if you drop something in your cart, not often, but sometimes if you drop something in your cart and they know who you are, they'll reach out and be like, hey, is everything okay? We noticed that you didn't complete this sale. Were we missing something? Did we do something wrong? Can we
how can we
do anything to help you with this? Yeah. What can we do to make your experience better? Mm-hmm. And then, so I got that email from them. Was there something wrong? And then they were like, you can, just reply to this email and let us know. And so it was the GIF of Jim Carrey with his fingers going up and down on the keyboard. I was like, I've got a contact. I'm going to let somebody know how I feel about this.
Boy, can I reply to this email. Let's go.
Boy, can I reply to this email. So I clicked reply like it said, and I went, and I'm not a screamy. I'm demanding, but I'm not screamy. I'm actually usually very polite. So I get a lot of things that go my way when I talk to people on the phone because they're so shocked to be dealing with somebody to be pleasant that I get things on my way. But I can also be a squeaky wheel. And this was my opportunity to be a polite squeaky wheel is what I wanted to be. And so I typed up this email and I hit send. And immediately got an error bounce back. Because the return address email that they told me to reply to was a no reply at something.com. So at this point, now I'm just shaking my head at the incredible level of incompetence they demonstrated. And so I then just forwarded that email directly to them. I was like, I was annoyed, and now I'm at what you had before. And now I'm just not at all surprised that you can't even figure out how to work an email list. With where you say reply to this and the reply address is not there. So this is just like, what are you going to do?
Now
they just suck at working all of this stuff.
To their credit, one of the new community managers, not really new anymore. Jack's been there more than 6 months now, right? They hired Jack Brumell last summer, He's been on several of the discords, the community discords that I sit in, KTOD and Bothan Network and so on, and has been actively engaging people who had issues with registration or who had had those kinds of problems, and trying to help them out and make sure that everything got done on their end, to make sure that, because folks were getting that email like they had paid and received a confirmation that said, you have paid your money, here's your confirmation, you have a screenshot of your receipt, whatever, and then they get the email, it looks like you failed to complete your transaction. What can we do to help? And they're like, I completed my transaction. What's going on? So you're not the only one who's reached out to them about various issues with this, but it seems weird to me because from my perspective, this system, all of this worked last year just fine. So what did you do different that it all broke this year?
I don't know what to do, man. Like, they just demonstrate a level of incompetence that's what. It's not that hard. Like, if you care at all about this, if you're, as a company, if you care at all about this, it's not that hard to get it right. It just, we have a whole, I'm gonna delve, I'm gonna peek behind the curtain for you people, because we have a whole set of show notes, and I usually will come up with the topics that we're going to write about every week. One of the things that we were going to talk about is our thoughts about etiquette around playing the game. Like, when you go to play, we'll cover it in some future thing. But one of the things on there is learn people's names. And like, just as it is, if you play cards with somebody week in and week out for months, and you still don't know their name, and somebody says you're paired up against this person in a tournament, and you're like, who? And then they have to, like, that demonstrates a level of, I don't care at all about you, and I don't care about anything that it's just a level of disrespect and a level of I don't care that is not unforgivable, but that's the similar. That's how I feel about it. It's
disappointing.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing to come across somebody who doesn't care, who shows the level of disrespect to not learn your name, and it's disappointing to want to give money to a company who shows a level of disrespect for their customers that they can't even do something this simple correct. I am disappointed.
Yeah. I don't know that I have anything other to add there than just my nodding of agreeance. Like, I just, okay. It is what it is.
So now we're going to take the box that we just opened, and we're going to shut it. We're going to take all that negativity. We're going to put it over there, because we do love this game.
Yeah. There's a lot of great things to talk about. Game.
A lot of great things to talk about. We don't get to talk about most of that this week because stupid Ian's not here.
Hey, now.
So we'll just have to come up with, I don't know, you get sick. Who gets sick these days? Don't get sick.
Literally everybody. Like, that's just a
weak.
Thing.
That's weak. No, it's fine. I hope Ian gets better. But we do have, we got a few things we can talk about. So the one thing that we can still talk about, so the design challenge from last time was, I wanted you to design the Eternal format. And obviously Ian's not going to, we'll dip in with Ian to see if he had any thoughts about it when he gets back. But I wanted to see, I've had some thoughts about it. I wanted to see what you think about it.
So what I understand is, I admit I've been a little spoiled on this one, right? Because I've heard them talk about FFG. I've heard them talk about some of what their intentions with this are. Now, there's been no formal announcement that I know of. But I have heard them say that they intend to maintain a different ban list for Eternal than existed when those cards were all played.
Okay.
I like this idea. This is honestly where I would have gone with this, right? Because, you talk about the format. To me, Eternal needs to be, the history of the game, right? A good buddy of mine here, is a longtime Magic player, and was talking about a tournament he had been to a number of years ago that was in whatever the Magic equivalent of this format is, right? And this was probably 15 years ago. But he talked about the phrase that he used was the entire history of Magic on the table. And when he said it that way, I thought, that's a great way to think of it. We need to think of Eternal as the entire history of Unlimited on the table, good or bad, right? But at the same time, we have to entice people to play it, right? Eternal needs to look different from Premier, functionally, in the sense of, I need to be getting a different play experience out of Eternal than I did when all the like right now to entice me to play Eternal. You need the format needs to look different than it did, because Eternal, what we're about to call Eternal, is today Premiere, more or less, right?
Right. Pretty much, with the addition of Lawless Time.
With the addition of Lawless Time. So
it'll change as the years go on. It gets different and more different. So,
but in the short term,
but for now, it's exactly the same.
If you're in the short term, to entice people to play it, you need to give them some kind of definitive thing that is different about this format. And as I understand where FFG is going, the suggestion that I would have made, give me a different ban list. What would be on this? Well, yeah, give me something different. What would be on it? I'm not sure. There's a lot of different ways you can go. The rumor that I have heard, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not, is that FFG intends to ban Resupply and Super Laser Technician in Eternal. I love this. I love this idea, right? Because, or even maybe even Spark of Hope. Just take all the green ramp cards and get rid of them.
Why? What's the? I mean,
well,
I can
for
see
me,
that you say you want to get rid of the green ramp cards, but what is it about that versus some of the Super Laser Blast
for starters,
or Django?
For starters, it completely changes the math of certain leaders and certain combinations of things that you can play. A lot more things become viable when you know that there is no ramp in the format, right? Maybe I don't know. I don't know exactly. The idea intrigues me, right? Faster leaders maybe look a little more attractive. High-end leaders maybe look a little more attractive because the thing with ramp that fundamentally breaks the economy of unlimited is the fact that your leader can deploy differently than what's expected when you sit down at the table. Simply by taking any leader in the game and pairing it with green and importing these green ramp cards, now your 7 deploy leader might be a turn 4 leader rather than a turn 6 leader or whatever, right? We've seen it before many times. I think that forcing those leaders, the later deploy, the stronger leaders, cards like Yoda, right, to deploy when they are, air quotes, intended to,
fair, yeah,
is more interesting in the format.
See, to me, that just pushes the non-ramp of, say, Han Solo that dumps cards out of your hand, or Boba Fett that untaps things. That just pushes those harder, and those have already been banned for good reason.
Boba Fett has, but I think you put Han 1 on this list too. I think you put Han 2 on this list. I think I mean, I'm really serious. I think you just go in and you just shake up the whole thing. Now, what goes on these lists? We could argue about that for days, okay? And everyone is going to have a different opinion because everybody's going to have different things that they don't necessarily want to see. And I can live with this. I get that. But the idea of Premiere and Eternal having a completely different ban list, I think is interesting. And that's probably the one thing that I would do differently. Give people and maybe even get to a point where you change the Eternal ban list once a year as stuff rotates in and out. Okay, we're rotating out, or things are coming in or whatever. We change the ban list around. I think that's fine too.
See, when you say that you want to have a totally separate ban list, I'm not thinking that they're going to ban more stuff. My thought is that they just reset it to 0 and don't ban anything. And so then they just move forward. And the same way they did with the Premiere, they just ban things as they pop up again.
And
that doesn't feel all that different to me. And it also, I want to pull back on the power of the possibility. So this is, I thought about this thing myself. So I also like the idea of pulling back on the power level of some of the cards, but I think a ban list, I think there are more elegant ways to do it than a ban list.
Okay.
So I don't want to just take Destiny Premiere as we know it, add a bunch of cards to it, reset the ban list, and call it a day. That feels like a missed opportunity to do something interesting to me.
Okay.
Because it doesn't take much thought to do. There's no go back to the drawing board. Is there a more elegant way to do this to improve gameplay for this particular style of play? Okay. And so if you're telling me that you want to lay out the history of Star Wars Unlimited on the table in front of you, That's what I want to do. So I want to avoid banning things if I can. But I want to
Okay.
find another way to diminish the power of certain cards that may need to get banned. The way that I think would be a good way to do it is make it a singleton format.
Like Twin Suns is.
Like, yeah, Twin Suns is a singleton format. I think if you made the Eternal format a singleton, where you just have one of every card, a playset is not 3 of a card; it's 1 of a card. So then cards, you don't have to ban Super Laser Tech and Resupply because you've only got 1 of each in your deck to begin with, and it makes ramp much harder.
Yeah.
You always, as we go over time and you add things to the format, you're going to add new sets to the format. You're only ever going to get more and more degenerate combos. You're going to get things that come out in 2027 that work with Spark of Rebellion, and they go together in a way that was never intended. And so now you have this crazy degenerate deck, and then it dominates for a while, but then it pulls away. Like then something gets banned. I think if you have a singleton format, it introduces a variability in play in every iteration. Every time you take your 50 cards and you play a game, it's going to be a lot more varied if you only have 1 copy of every card in your deck, and it's going to be more representative of the history of Star Wars Unlimited because you're going to have 50 different cards, not 16 different cards, 17 different cards in your deck. So I think that would go a long ways to neutering the power of what you can get. I also think it makes it more approachable.
I agree.
If
it's less intimidating for new players to go back and grab older stuff that they might buy 1 card of something they might need from a set that's 4 years old now or whatever to build the deck that they want in Eternal. Oh, I like where your head's at there. I definitely like that.
Yeah. So like it makes it so if you go look at Magic, and this is kind of the granddaddy that we refer to a lot. If you go look at Magic, their Eternal formats are completely unapproachable by anybody starting the game today because you have to buy 4 copies of some card that is $150 each.
And you have to do that like
10 times.
Yeah.
It's been out of print for 20 years, and you have to buy 4 of them if you want to play. You might run through 2 or 3, but you still have to. And every card is super expensive, and you're buying huge play sets of them. So it's a lot more feasible, financially for somebody to go buy 1 copy of Luke Skywalker from Spark of Rebellion than it is to ask him to buy 3 to participate in this format. So I think the singleton format.
I like it.
I think revisiting, if you're building a new format, it's an opportunity to revisit and figure out if there's a better way to do it than just just changing the what's legal and slapping a new name on it of Premier.
Yeah.
And I think that making it a singleton format would be a great idea.
I like it. And I think I don't know that you can get away with that right now in the sense of I'm not sure the card pool supports it at this instant. It might. I'd have to run some.
Oh, that makes it even more wild.
Well, I agree. But what I'm getting at is in another year, when there's 9 sets, I think, and all these triple aspect cards we're about to get here in year 3, now I think it becomes a lot more realistic, and I think it's very much a thing that can be done. So I like the idea. I'm a fan.
I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to be. I don't want to call it lazy, but I honestly feel it's kind of lazy.
Well,
maybe it didn't even occur to them to think of it as an opportunity to do something different.
But here's the thing, Trey. If it's an alternate format, like formats can change. Maybe the first year of this works or doesn't work. We're going to have eternal PQs. They're telling us starting in a few months, in a few weeks, even by April, we could be looking at eternal PQs. So we're going to see where people go in this format, and it's possible it takes off. It's possible it doesn't. I don't know. I'm fascinated to see it. My gear is ready. I'm ready to cast eternal tournaments right now. I want to show this off, right? I wanted to show off. What?
I have no interest in Eternal right now because it's meaningless. Curious. It's just playing it now. I'll be interested in it in a year.
Okay.
Whenever we have more cards and Shadows of the Empire. Shadows has been out for a while, and I can go revisit those cards. But I mean, it feels like if getting excited about it now feels like the same thing as saying I just wish there was no rotation. But I'm really looking forward to rotation. So.
I'm looking forward to rotation, but I'm also curious to see what people do with a new format. I'm always curious. I said this last year, I would have loved to have been able to showcase the first trilogy tournament in the world that was held at last year's Galactic Championship, right?
Yeah, that was fun. We need more trilogies tournaments.
Right?
See, that demonstrates their willingness to go do something interesting with the format.
Yeah. So I look at that and think, that would have been interesting. But of course, all the streaming we got was entirely the main event. We talked about that at the time. So, I'm all for anything that showcases other opportunities for people to express their deck building creativity or their ideas or whatever. And let's look at it. Let's try these things.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Legendaries. We decided kind of at the last minute, rather than go through our show notes, we were going to talk about legendaries here in set 7. We're now right at about 2 weeks and change away from pre-release. The entire set, almost the entire set, is spoiled now. We're over 90% of the cards.
It's 100%. No, it's all spoiled as of today. It's
did they fully release it?
Star Wars Unlimited.
Okay,
they fully released it on Star Wars
fair
Unlimited.
Enough. The last I checked this afternoon, there were still about 25-ish cards that hadn't been spoiled. So fair enough. Mm-hmm. I haven't gone to look at that. I'll look later. So it's all there now. But at a minimum, they spoiled the last legendary today. So we've now seen all 20 legendaries that are coming in Lawless Time. You kind of had some thoughts about legendaries over the course of the last 2 sets. I kind of want to do a quick look through the legendaries, all 20 that are coming in this set. I'm not going to rank things or rate them, but I want to talk about each of them individually, about both, do we think this is an interesting card that's going to see play? And you kind of look at it more from the, like, what's a chase card? Like what's going to drive people buying packs, I think.
Right, because that's been a major topic of conversation, not just with us, but with the whole community. Their legendaries are garbage, and very few of them are worth any money, and very few of them are you trying to open packs to get. And so I wanted to go back. First of all, I looked at legendaries from this set, and I said, "Oh, there's 20 of them. Mm-hmm. Is that new?" And then I was like, no, I went and checked, and no, we've had 20 for a while. Mm-hmm. So that part was not new. I just remember it from the beginning of the game being 17. Mm-hmm. So then I wanted to go back. Since that has been the topic of conversation, I wanted to go back and look at what we have come. What did I think about the legendaries from previous sets as they were released? Not necessarily, because that's the only focus I have on Lawless, is that I have no idea whether they're going to be good or not. But I can go back and think about at Legend of the Force. What did I think about the legendaries, and compare it to what I think about the legendaries from this set? And so I went, and I've gotten a remarkable similar number of cards that I would consider chase in the last 3 sets, including Lawless.
Okay.
But the difference, in my opinion, with this set is the number of trash legendaries. Okay. So if I go back to Legends of the Force and I revisit what I thought about the legendaries, and I go over all 20, I had 4 that I thought would be chased. So we've got the Vader, I've got the Anakin, I've got Yoda, and I thought Grogu would be chased because he seemed awesome. He ended up not being chased, but at least at the time I thought he would be. Mm-hmm. And then going through them, just my initial assessment of Legends of the Force is that there are, of the 20, 9 are just coasters. They're paperweights. They're trash legendaries, and they would never see play. And I was right about all of those. So then I went and looked at Secrets of Power. I've came up with, with 3 chase legendaries. One was Amidala, yeah, and then a couple others. I don't remember what they are. And then I went through, and there were 10 that were trash. So I'm looking. So at the moment, for the last 2 sets, I've been looking at this, and this is just what I thought about them at the time. And most of those, some of those saw play, but not really. So, but the running theme of the way I have evaluated legendaries from the last 2 sets is about half of them are just pure garbage, and then 3 or 4 of them, 20% or so, are going to be the cards that you want to open. So then I looked at A Lawless Time with a similar eye, and I came up with 4 that I think might be chase. And that was me scanning earlier. I don't remember the exact names because I've spent a lot more time thinking about them since then. But I just kind of reading over all of them, I thought 4, these are going to be the ones. These are going to be money cards, I think. But I only came up with 3 that I think are going to be trash, which I think is a great big boon. I agree. I don't think it's that there were only 4 that were chased that is the issue in the past, probably in the past. I think it's that half of them are garbage. And if you can just eliminate the garbage and make them, I'm excited. I'm knocking drinks over, swinging my hands around. Nobody can see this, but I'm talking with my hands, and I just sent my drink flying.
There you go.
Fortunately, I had a lid, so I don't have to go clean anything. But it's the having fully, 50% of your legendaries being garbage, and I opened a legendary, and I could tear this in half, and I would get more enjoyment than I ever will out of owning this card. That has been a real sticking point for me, from at least what I think of legendaries are.
Right.
I'm in kind of going over these cards. It feels like a lot of these were designed by the same person. because a lot of them have a feel of somebody sitting back and stroking their beard and thinking, what is an unusual way that I could make a card? So we've got all these cards like Max Rebo. You know what? You know what we could do? We've never done before. We could double up on a phase. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you get Hondo, you know what? We've never done before. What if you could just play the top card of your deck? It's a lot of we've never done this before cards that feel like that they've somebody sat back, stroked their beard, and examined the game with an eye of what could we do differently that we've never done before. And that, I feel like some of those may never see play, but it feels at least interesting. It's generated a lot of deck building juices for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like in one of the things I considered in Secrets of Power, I didn't have a lot of impetus. I didn't have a lot of juices flowing for building decks because everything was kind of the same. I mean, the cards did differently, but a lot of it was built around plot. Like everything felt funneled through the flip turn. All of your deck building kind of felt funneled through the flip turn. And so that limited how excited I got about it. But these, looking at every card, is a little bit. Some of the cards, they let you play stuff for free. Some of the cards do neat stuff by putting shields on them. Some of them, there's a Mandalorian that makes me want to like draw cards during my turn so I can shield him up. Like, and they all do different things in different ways. And so now I look at one card and I'm like, ooh, rubbing my hands together. I think of this card and I can build this type of deck. And then I look at the card right next to it. And then I'm like, oh, but I could build this other deck this other way and I could use these other cards. So that's, even if they're not chase, they're at least they feel playable and not trash.
One of the other things that kind of stood out to me as I looked through this, right, is that there are finally some low-costed units in the legendary list that will see play, right? In the sense of you go back and you look at, like, set 2 is an easy example for me, right? I'm a big red villain guy. Kylo's tie out of set 2. A 2-drop legendary. 3/2 simple space with its little goofy game text. That was, for me, that was a chase card in that set because all the red villain decks that I have basically have played that card more or less ever since. We haven't.
And the price reflected it.
And we haven't seen many cards at that, many legendaries at that deploy cost in the game since. Now, there have been a handful, right? You go back to Legends of the Force, and we had HK-47. Another red-black legendary, a nice solid turn 1 play. You had Grand Inquisitor, also a 3-drop, another legendary, another really good card. But in general, I mean, even Grogu is a 3-drop, right? In general, FFG tends to make these cards costed that they're mid or late game cards. Very uncommonly do we find a legendary that's a turn 1 play. You go back and look at Secrets of Power. The only one that I can remember is Cassian Andor, the little blue.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at right now. But it's not.
He's Chopper, I guess, also a turn 1 play, but kind of a weird one. Like, well, I'm not sure about this. Darth Treya,
neither of them am I excited about playing.
Right.
I don't look at those and go, I'm excited about playing this. But that Anakin's Pod Racer looks fun.
Exactly. So Darth Treya, a 3-drop out of Secrets of Power, a little bit better. And then as you get into finally Lawless Time, the like you said, the Pod Racer is a really, really good looking card. And there's nothing else in here that's early game, but there's kind of some more mid-game stuff. You talked about Max. They just spoiled Maz Kanata, another kind of mid-game card that looks good. Stranger only costs 5. That's a very impactful card when it hits the board. So
another card where somebody looked at it and said, what could we do differently that we've never done before? And like gets sends me off down a rabbit hole of building a deck around how can I use this guy to be cool.
Not only is that a great card, it's a great looking card. Like the art and the coloring, like the art, it's such a great, that's going to be absolutely one of the best legendaries out of this set.
The art on this card is better than the entire series of The Acolyte.
You've watched the whole thing? You sat through the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I made myself.
Okay. Good for you. So do you want to review each one of these and just talk about it real briefly, like all the legendaries in the set, and just give an opinion real quick as we go through?
That's fine. I mean,
we don't have to
if we go through all 20 of them.
We don't have to.
We can just dip through. We can dip through each of them and give like a quick something and then delve deeply into a little bit more.
That's fine.
Live show notes, people.
Yeah, there you go. So, because I have the ability to put them all on the screen here. That's why I'm asking, right? So
I have them too.
I've got him here on the video if you're watching the podcast on video. So our first one here is going to be is Cad Bane, right? The blue-green villain with his little goofy game text about ditching credit tokens to give him experience when he comes in. You're shaking your head.
No, I'm yeah, I'm doing the this is another one. It's build around, like, or not build around, but it does something a little different. It's shielded, it's overwhelm, it's a 6/6/6. He's evil. And yeah, it's just it's an interesting use of credit tokens that I don't recall seeing prevalent elsewhere.
I'm going to be curious to see how he works out, because the other large Cad Bane units that we've had, like the Hostage Taker, have been big, impactful units up to this point. Now, you like Chewbacca, as I recall.
Oh,
blue-green hero.
God. I want this guy to have ambush so badly. He looks so much fun. If I can get this guy, this is one that I will probably start going for immediately, because I want to ambush Chewbacca out and just make him mass. I want to, at that third turn, I want to send him out. I want to kill your previous turn's play, and then I want to have a 7/7 with no damage on him. Boom! With overwhelm.
He's not going to be 7/7 right away, but after a few rounds, he could be.
No, I'm going to kill something.
Yeah.
If I give him ambush, I'm going to run him out there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kill your guy.
Yeah.
The defending unit was defeated. Give an
experience token.
Okay. Whatever.
But he does get that heal, which is really, really cool.
And he gets healed.
Yeah.
Then I can just I can just grow him every turn. Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah. He's fun. The Obi-Wan, I feel like, is a bit of a miss, right? Because I think the majority of the time, this guy's basically just going to be a 7/7 Sentinel for 7. And if Captain Rex already does this better for less cost in Secrets of Power. So I'm not convinced we're going to see a lot of Obi-Wan.
I agree. This is one of those that goes in the trash pile for me.
Yeah,
just because they added that, they wanted 7 too badly. They wanted it too much. They flew too close to the sun. They grabbed one extra 7. It just said, while you control 7 or more units, didn't need to be in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have been interesting for it to say all of your units are considered to be. That makes this guy a real threat. But having to have a giant wide board to do it makes it really challenging.
Right.
Single reactor ignition, of course, one of the early legendaries, spoiled.
Boom.
Yeah, like this is a great take on Super Laser Blast, confining it more in terms of aspect pairs, but also comes with that nice little damage bonus. I think this is a great card. It's going to see tons of play.
I think this is an incredibly well-designed card.
I do
it's
too.
Much more narrow. Very many fewer people can play it than can play Super Laser Blast, so it's not as prevalent to just have all your stuff blown up.
Unless they want to pay 10 for it, which you go right ahead.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's pay 10 for it. You could blow everything up. I just think this is a really well-designed card.
I do too. For a board wipe, this is kind of more in line with what I'm expecting it to do, and what I expect it to cost.
Mm-hmm.
Now, earlier you talked about Mandalorian, a 6-drop aggression vigilance unit that basically gives you a nice little handy reward for drawing cards during your turn.
And he draws his own card. I love that he brought this with him. Mm-hmm. They could have easily made this a 6/6/6 and just said, when you draw one or more cards during the action phase, give a shield token to this unit. But I think taking away one of the health and adding draw a card make this is going to be something that sees a lot of play.
Mm-hmm. I think this is going to be fascinating to see how this card works out. I mean, a whole lot of Kylo Tarkin Town decks are really excited to see this guy, right? Because Kylo loves drawing cards. That's the thing that he can just do innately. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be really interesting to see.
Maul sits in a place in my heart. I love Maul so much.
I know.
He steals people's stuff and beats them about it with the face and neck with their own stuff. And it makes me so happy. That's my favorite thing to do in card games, is to take your stuff and smack you in the face with it.
You locally have been synonymous with playing traitorous out of set 1 for a very long time. You're just like, I'm going to steal your stuff and crash it into your face. Enjoy.
Yes. Taking something away from my opponent and then using it and me getting something at the same time and take something away is just so insanely powerful to me.
What I like what they've done with this card is they've taken away they've given him more health, but taken away the ambush versus the Maul that we got back in set 2. And I like that because it makes it at the 7 cost price point, it makes him challenging to just slap off the board. Unless you have some kind of, removal card that can get rid of him after he takes damage or whatever. So I'm looking at this going, this is a guy that even if you just hard cast him into the ground arena and he just stays there exhausted until next turn, he's probably going to get at least one good swing in, and that one swing is going to piggyback, spiral into other things going on the board.
Do something exciting.
Like. Exactly. That's going to be.
And this is I've spoken several times before about I don't like there being a default. Just this is the best answer.
Mm-hmm.
And like this is the card. If you want a 7-drop, you're always going to choose Maul.
Yeah.
There's if you can run the Maul from Shadows, you hold it up next to any other 7-drop. That ambush makes it so that there's why would you choose any other card with this Maul?
Right.
And the new Maul feels like by not having the ambush, which is what I want it to have because then I want it to go off. But by not having the ambush, there will be circumstances where I want to choose some other 7-drop other than this one, instead of just being like, I'm playing, red, green, and black. This is the one I pick.
Yep. L3 was the very last legendary, spoiled just today, and she has sparked quite a bit of discussion in the various community discords that I have seen.
Of garbage.
Interesting that you say that, because there's a whole lot of people that disagree with you.
Well, they can disagree with me all they want. She's red and green, which doesn't have all that many droids to begin with, and you don't gain much. What?
Piet droid decks disagree with you, sir.
You don't gain anything. Okay. You don't really gain anything. It's not like you're getting, so you're basically getting getting a 3/2 for 1? That's not that powerful.
No.
And you might miss on the top of your deck. I mean, 10 cards is a lot, so you're going to be able to do that. I don't know. She may see play. I don't like it. I would have liked her to be 5 or slightly bigger.
Fair. She will absolutely see play for the sole reason, if no other reason, than she functions very similarly to Amidala. I'm playing one action and getting multiple units out of it. That is and will continue to be a powerful effect. Now, the quality of those units is going to vary. But the nice thing about that droid keyword is it's very open-ended. For the next 2 years, every droid that gets printed, people at a certain cost point, people are going to look back at L3 and go, is this worth it to combo in with this card? And I think that's interesting.
I think this is dramatically worse than Amidala. And the reason I think it's dramatically worse than Amidala is it's slightly more expensive. Mm-hmm. It hits way less hard.
True.
And it doesn't have it. And you can just kill this. Like, I think Amidala is so powerful because she hits for 5 and you can't kill her.
You can't kill it right away because it's hidden.
Okay.
You can kill it next turn.
I'll take your 3 damage from this. But,
fair.
Yeah, but I don't even need to kill this. Like, Amidala dealing 5 damage and being almost impossible to kill is what makes her so powerful. I don't even need to kill this because it only hits for 3. I don't really care about the hidden part of this. Okay. So that's what I think this is. I see what you're saying. That this is similar to.
It's similar. It's not identical.
What she does with Amidala, but I think all the stuff that makes Amidala exciting is off of this card.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll see. Tear this ship apart. I think you and I are both pretty high on this card for a lot of for various reasons. But you go ahead.
Yes, it's Darth Vader. Well, it is the iconic Darth Vader things to do, and you're just dealing the biggest thing because everybody, you have a fistful of cards to start with, plus 1. Because, fist would be 5. And you just what do you immediately do? You look and you go, oh, look at this angry triangle that I'm not going to play forever. Let's resource that because I'll draw another one. When I hit 7, gimme, whatever your best thing is, that is super exciting.
It's going to be fascinating.
I'm so happy about this.
Well, and it gets even more interesting than that, right? Because one of the things that I think is fascinating about this card is its very existence drives resourcing decisions when you play into certain colors of villain decks. You have to consider the existence of this card. And sometimes you're not going to have a choice. Just like you're going to be stuck. I have to resource my fancy Luke early on because I don't have a choice, right? I even mulligan to try to get out of it, and I'm stuck with it, and I got to take the risk, right?
You don't even have to put this card in your deck. If you could play green, yellow, and black, you don't even have to put this card in your deck, and it already forces your opponent to make suboptimal decisions.
Exactly.
That's how good this card is. I love this so much.
Yeah, I love it. But we saw it. So during FFG stream today, this card got played in draft, right? And it got played on the 5 resource turn because of credit tokens. Jack was playing green, yellow villain. And either he was playing the new Boba Fett, the young Boba Fett, whatever the crate. The Boba Fett that lasted for 5 minutes in canon. Whatever. Anyways, that Boba Fett. They're playing him with yellow, and that Boba Fett can create credit tokens. And then I think even his opponent had given him a credit token or 2. He played this on the 5 resource round. Now, what was fascinating about it was he essentially got very little value out of it because up to that point, Tyler had not had not really played, I think it was Tyler, I forget who it was, had not played cards into his resource row that were particularly impactful. A couple of them were like 1-drop units and so on. But you're playing this card in draft. So when you play it in draft, it's going to be very different than playing it in constructed. But the point remains that just in constructed, this card is just amazing, and I can't wait. I can't wait to hear people's horror stories of having to deal with it. It's going to be super, super, super fun.
So one thing we have about this card we haven't spoken about yet is if you get to play it, especially if you get to play it early, you can blow up your opponent's curve because with that resource, similar to the scanning guy,
exhausted.
It comes in exhausted. So when he played this for 5, if that was the first action of the turn, then his opponent
cost him a resource.
Doesn't get to play a 5 that turn, and that can be crippling by itself.
Also impactful, also noteworthy. Yep. Now, you alluded to Max Rebo earlier, and I think this is one of the most fascinating cards that they've ever designed. I want to just high five the guy who thought this up.
Mm-hmm. It's something different. Max Rebo he's a 2/7. They're for 4 in yellow and green.
Yellow-green.
There is an additional regroup phase after the first regroup phase each round.
Yeah.
So just anything that's going to happen during the regroup phase,
just happens again.
You can. It's gonna wreck the piece of junk, Millennium Falcon piece of junk. That thing you have to pay 2 for that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's so many things that you can do. It's just something you will definitely build around. I don't think this is going to be all that expensive. I think the effect is cool, but I don't see it being all that impactful because you have to build something. If you're going to build a deck that can use this, you have to build a deck that works without this, and that this just sends it into overdrive.
Yeah. What is interesting to me about this is the way it overdrives both players kind of at the same rate, right? In the sense of we're zooming to the high resource rounds and we're going to do it together. So it's like we're just going to shoot steroids into our arms and keep playing SWU and see what happens, right? It's going to be entertaining to see, to put it lightly.
Mm-hmm. And you can build your deck to take advantage of that, but again, your deck has to function without
100% because you might not draw it, like you might never see it.
Right. Or that maybe they just kill it, which happens a lot.
Yep. Maz.
What is exactly going to happen to Maz Kanata? Maz Kanata is going to get played for 4. Let's say we played Twin Suns last night.
Okay.
And I always show up with 4 decks because I don't want there to ever be a situation where I don't get to play Twin Suns because somebody doesn't have a deck. So I have enough to populate the whole game. And I have decks of varying levels of power. I've won, I think, with 3 of the 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the 4th one is kind of a beginner level complexity deck. And it ends up, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Jason borrowed my best deck. It's Ray from Shadows, Chewbacca from Spirit, whatever it is, the first set.
I hate that deck.
Yeah, because it Sentinels everything up. It's restores. It's a really good deck. I've played that deck many times, and I'm sure I haven't won with it, but I win almost every time I play with that deck. Because even when I play with a bunch of people I always play with, and they know that they need to gang up on me most of the time, but human nature being what it is, they'll gang up on me, and then when it looks like I'm in check, they will like, okay, now we can turn on each other, and then that deck just comes out of nowhere and reestablishes control, and it's really good deck.
Mm-hmm.
All that is to say is Jason played that deck, and he threw down Doom on the 4th turn.
Oh,
and I was like, and I sounded the alarm bells. I was he's only got one other guy out right now, but this is going to get out of control if you people don't kill this. And so everybody on the board dogpiled Doom to get him off the board.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. And the deck ended up losing. But if Doom had stayed around, that feels exactly like Maz Kanata. Like if you're playing on the 5 resource turn, if you're playing a 4/4, you're going to have to be super judicious with this on when you're going to get it out and when you claim, or it's just never going to work because this is way too powerful on too small of a body, and it's going to get freaking dogpiled off the board immediately.
But if it does work,
bananas.
Yeah, shenanigans. It's going to be interesting. Our buddy Luke, the new Luke Skywalker, legendary, a 7-drop 9, a Luke in red and yellow with easily some of the most thematic game text I've ever seen on a card, according to its subtitle. Luke Skywalker, Prophet or Be Destroyed. So when played, you get to choose. Take a credit token, or I'm going to blow something up. I love this.
Yeah. This is one I think is going to see a lot of play.
Yeah, and I think by name alone, he's going to be a chase card. It's very confined in terms of, red, yellow hero, but it's not like that's a bad combination of colors that's suffering from a lack of leaders or good cards. So I think he just slots right into a lot of those decks, and just now he's just good. He's just good from then on.
He's just a big beater that cards that give your opponent a choice are often not good because they will just pick the one that is the easiest for them to get around. And then the card never, if you give somebody a choice, if you play a card that gives somebody a choice, they never do what you want it to do. They never choose the one you want because obviously they want the other thing.
Yeah.
But this one feels like it has an opportunity to do. I don't care which one you choose. They're both going to work for me. Like there's, what is it? Let the Wookiee win is one where they get to choose, and nobody ever plays that because they'll just choose the one that does whatever that doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
So
Stranger. We were talking about this card earlier. Easily going to be one of the chase legendaries of this set. I've already seen people talking about plays with Talzin. I've seen people talking about trying to pick up Barris Offie Blue again, which is a deck that I've messed around with and have not had much love, but boy howdy, does this card look really good in those decks.
I mean, it looks really good in any deck. This art is incredible.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it just looks like it's fun to play.
Yeah.
It just looks like it's going to be fun to slap something down and see the rules work a little differently. And I end up with this big guy on the 5 resource turn.
Yeah.
It's just neat.
Yeah. This is a really, really, and the the kind of the reverse wording of grit. Like I take your damage, then my grit kicks in, then I kick you back in the teeth. I think that's just a really, really cool mechanic. This is such a well-designed card. Easily one of the best legendaries in the set, and definitely one folks are going to be chasing.
From the mind of whoever it is that designed all these cards and thought, what can I do a little differently?
Yeah. Yep. I love it. Hondo, another one of the early spoiled cards, dual aspect, of course, cunning and vigilance. Another one you can just constantly look at the top card of your deck, and then anytime you feel like playing it, you can just play it.
We don't do this anyway? I thought this was just the rule of the game. Is I always want to know what's on top of my deck. I just pick it up. Oh, that's what I've got coming up.
I mean, there you go.
I like the 7 health on this guy.
I do too, and I think it's interesting because there's going to be a lot of folks that there are some leaders and some other interesting card effects that Hondo can reduce the randomness of, let's say, and I think that's going to be that's 100% going to be a thing that certain creative deck builders take advantage of, and it's going to be fascinating to see. I would have loved to have had this guy with like old Thrawn, right? Like set 1 Thrawn would be fun.
That'd be cool.
So away from all the fancy double aspect cards, now we're into like the more traditional aspect pairings, right? And so now the first of the 3 death triangles in the set is Lawbringer. A lot of folks have kind of just said, oh, it's a new Snoke. It kind of is, but I think it's a little different because Piet can play this if he wants, and a little cheaper. Like this could be a 6 resource. This could be, Piet comes out, flips, and the next thing you see on the board is this on the 6 resource round. That could be horrifying, especially in a deck versus a deck. This thing picks a chosen aspect. A lot of times you're probably going to pick hero or villain on the assumption that your opponent's going to have a lot of hero or villain cards based on their leader. This is going to be a good card.
So when they first designed their Angry Triangles, they were way too good. So we're at this point in the game's life, we're 6 sets in, we're about to rotate, and 99% of all decks that play these big ships, they still play the original ones, and they don't really use any of the ones from future sets. If they do, it's like a one of silver bullet type thing. So it feels like they, the ones from the first set, the Avenger and whatnot, those are
Avenger
too
and
good.
Devastator are amazing cards.
They're too good. They're once again, why would you play anything else? Because these, if I'm playing it, if I'm in those colors and I'm playing one of these cards, this is just the one you choose because there's nothing else is better than it. It's just the best one. And then they went and designed other ships that ended up being underpowered a lot.
Finalizer.
So you have, there are a bunch of cards out there that are this class of card that they don't see play because 1, they're not as good as Avenger, and 2, they're just not very good to begin with. It's way too much money that you're spending way too many resources you're spending for what you get out of it.
Yep.
This feels much closer to a happy medium to me. It's expensive. There are ways to make it cheaper if you're playing for this. It's pretty big, and it has an impact on the game. Like I think Snoke's impact is too much. I think this is almost a fixed Snoke. So you shouldn't. it shouldn't playing your big finisher like this shouldn't just pretty much completely invalidate the other person. They should have some method of getting out of it. It should just hurt them. And this feels like it hurts them. Snoke,
oh yeah,
and Avenger and Devastator, that all just kind of ends the game.
It just ruin you. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I'm with you. I like this card. I like you. I think it's very well designed. Intimidator, a new 11 drop. I'm not convinced this card's going to get a lot of play. I don't necessarily think it's coaster fodder. What do you think?
Oh, it is.
Okay.
11 for this? This is stupid. This is what it's too expensive. The 11s are neat, but who's going to pay 11? The game is almost always going to be over. And I guess you're going to return, like you have to pick up all of your resources and then you can play like one other big thing. Maybe. I don't know. As I talk about this, it doesnbo-y feel terrible. It feels very all in. It feels a lot more gambly than I would expect out of Imperial Green.
It feels very combo-y, right? Like you just said, like I'm going to pick up all or probably a fair chunk of my resources. And when I do that, there's a card in there that I'm expecting to play with the credit tokens that I generate, whatever that card is. And boy, it had better end the game pretty damn quick, whatever it is.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. It better end it immediately.
Yeah.
This feels like they tried to. What's the one where you just flip over all of your resources and they all become
Endless
things?
Legions is the card.
Yeah, endless. This feels like a fixed version of that, but that didn't really need fixing because nobody played it anyway.
It got very little play and only in very specific decks.
But yeah, so I don't know. This feels almost more like a Hondo card to me. Like if you had given this ability to made it 9, made it a big Hondo that you were gonna, you're gonna cash everything in, and I'm gonna roll the dice on this one big play, and I either deal with it or lose. Okay. That feels very Hondo-y, not Imperially.
Yeah, no, I'm there. I definitely agree with you. Rey, I think, is going to be a fabulous card. Right? It's costed such that it's not completely out of reach for late game green hero decks, which Lord knows there's plenty of good green hero decks that go to the late game. It's a 9/9 that's very difficult to remove off the board. Like that alone makes it a good card in my mind.
It feels like laying a baseball bat on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm putting this giant thing out there that's going to crush you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's not even this slow, but the mental image that I get is from Austin Powers when the guy, the henchman, is standing there and he's holding his hand up, and the steamroller is rolling towards him, and he's going, no, and the inexorable rolling forward of the steamroller. This will hit much faster than that. That's just the mental image I get. That this is a giant rock on the table that they can't do anything about. Okay.
Good luck.
And then just have to feed Sentinel units into it or die.
Yeah,
and so it just I think it's good. I think it'll see play.
Yeah, I absolutely do. The last Angry Triangle in this set is Persecutor, a much more reasonable cost at 9, coming in at a 9 drop for 9/7. So statted like Fulminatrix, but a slightly higher cost for what kind of is like a built-in bombing run. You
want to play bombing run much earlier than this, though.
True, you typically do.
I don't. This feels very narrow.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like the other one, the -2/-2 one. That's going to keep you alive because it's shrinking the damage that they deal, and so you can play that one, and then they can't kill you, and then they start attacking you with a bunch of small things that were small-ish, but now they're really small, and then you claim, and then you attack immediately with it, and the same guys are still small. Like if that one feels like you can take control of the game with it in a way that is not that your opponent can deal with, it's not Snokey, but it keeps you alive while it attacks. This one feels like it's either gonna, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's going to be nearly as impactful.
Okay, not a coaster though necessarily.
Slightly above.
Borderline. I'm looking at your face. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Ben Solo, kind of the other half of our intrepid force diptych or whatever here. This is a basically Kylo, but he's a light side character, a 9 drop at 8/8.
So we've got Rey as an 8 drop for a 9/9, and Ben is a 9 drop for an 8/8. So the idea is that you play Rey, and then she's tapped, but then she untaps, and then good luck.
Yeah, enjoy.
And then she swings in,
just beat silly. Yeah.
Then she swings in and attacks for 9, and then you drop Ben solo and ready her, and now neither one of them can be attacked.
Correct.
So you've got another 9 coming this time, and 17 coming the time after from these guys.
Yep. Talk about ending the game in a hurry. That ought to do it.
So that's what 9. That's 35 right there. That kills any base in the game.
I think Ray's going to see a lot more play than he is. Just personal feel, because I just feel like that way. Hero, a unit that's difficult to remove in Hero Green.
If you're in audio, that was me making a face. That was my. I don't know. I'm thinking. That's what I'm
saying. I'm reacting to. You're kind of squinting, like I don't think I necessarily agree. I think Ray's going to be more popular than Ben. I don't know how popular she's going to be, but I think you're going to see her more often than you see this card. Personally,
I can see that. I don't necessarily think they're going to be paired up.
No, I agree. I don't think they're going to be paired up at all. Not a lot, anyway.
Well, I mean, like that's people are going to want to pair them up because
they're going to want to
hit you with Ray, play Ben, do that sort of thing. But I think, yes, I think she's going to be a big finisher in a lot of decks. But I think Ben is going to be a very interesting, because it can untap anything.
Anything.
Like when played and when defeated, it's going to untap anything. I find that open-ended utility, I think, is going to be really sought after. So I think they're going to be played in different situations.
I agree. Almost to the end. This is your probably pick for the legendary of the set, Anakin's Pod Racer.
No, that was Chewbacca. That's the one I like for that one. If I can figure out how to ambush him.
But this is going to be an incredibly popular legendary. Like this is like the Fast Falcon or the Kylo's Tie of the set, right? A low costed card that everybody who plays these colors is probably going to play in their decks.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's thematic too. It's flavorful. So we played Destiny, and they had, the old Star Wars game with the dice, and they had a lot. Like there was one set that did a lot of pod racing, and it was just kind of a joke. Like it wasn't very good. Like every once in a while, somebody would put like a low cost pod racer in there, but it wasn't. Nobody really played them. Especially this pod racer feels like something that people actually will want to play.
Yep, I agree. It's definitely going to see play. Last but not least is a new Mon Calamari Cruiser, Liberty here. You're shaking your head. 8-drop in Hero Cunning. That is a Sentinel that when it plays and when it swings in, it exhausts units, opposing units.
I don't know if I'm overly relying on or overly paying attention to the bounce all the upgrades to their hands and just feeling like that's not very impactful. Maybe a 9/7 Sentinel that will exhaust something every round is pretty good. I don't know. Maybe.
I think one of the things that I haven't yet kind of adapted to in my brain is the reality that in certain decks and certain color combos, we're going to have to evaluate the cost of cards very differently because of how credits work. And yellow is one of the cards, like look at Lando, for example. Yellow is, especially Yellow Hero, one of the color combinations that's going to have, I'll just say, easier access to credit tokens than some of the other factions. So
that's a great point. So I feel like I could listen to this back in about 6 weeks. I should listen to this back and just think what an idiot I was talking about the cost of these cards.
Well,
because I just didn't properly gauge the value of credit tokens.
I think right now, from where everybody sits, it's difficult to gauge the value of credit tokens. What I'm trying to say is a bit of a cautionary tale in that I have a feeling, my gut tells me that in another 6 weeks, like you're saying, we're going to look back and go, oh yeah, no, those cost points are actually about right, because otherwise we'd be seeing these cards even earlier than we already are. Looking at, I look at, again, I'll use the example I watched today in a draft event where I watched them play a 7-drop on the 5 resource turn, and he still had credit tokens left over. So it was like, yikes, So you look at the 8-drop 9/7 Space Sentinel. That sounds like not necessarily appealing, but I think I also wonder the other question in my mind, and I'll we've kind of completed our review here, so I'll turn these off, but I'm wondering if credit tokens are going to cause a reevaluation of certain expensively costed cards in the last year. You go back to JTL, right? Let's go back and look at some of the JTL legendaries just off the top of my head. A lot of these, of course, are big, expensive ships. But if you look at like one of the yellow hero ones was Home One, another Mon Calamari cruiser. That already could be cheaper if your opponent has a bunch of space units. But even if you were able to just make that cost 6 innately, that's a 7/8 space unit for 6. A few credit tokens doesn't feel that hard to get. Doesn't seem that hard to get. So I'm going to be really interested to see, how some of these cards feel, the older stuff feels in the new credit token world.
Yeah, if I could play the Secrets of Power Director Krennic for 6 or 7, that would be real powerful.
You are absolutely. It's going to happen. It's going to be. It's going to be able to. You're going to be able to do it, guaranteed.
If you're listening to this guy is an 8/10 ground unit that is Sentinel, and when he's attacked, you can discard a card from your deck, and if it's a unit, you may return it to your hand. So, all right, like he's just going to hold the ground until they finally kill it, and then you're like, no, you didn't kill him. I'm just going to pick this back up and replay him. Good luck. And by then you do have the 9, so you only need to get him out early that one time. So yeah, that's a really this is what an interesting choice. Or Confidence in Victory, the alternate win condition.
Another odd one, isn't it?
If you could just spam credit tokens and play this for 5 or something, like you're the only player who controls units in that arena, you win the game. Woohoo! I just picked, either one.
I think credit tokens are going to be real interesting. I'm fascinated to see kind of how that shakes out. And I think your Krennic point is a good one, because yellow-green villain is absolutely going to make a comeback. The Tear the Ship Apart basically guarantees it, and there's the Director Krennic leader in this set is that good. He's 100% going to be around. You're going to see him. So it's going to be fascinating to watch.
I don't think I see anything in Legends of the Force. Maybe Bendu?
Maybe there's a lot. There's kind of less stuff in there that's crazy expensive.
There's Supremacy, there's Mythosaur, there's Syndralig, but none of those feel like even undercosted. Those don't feel good. Okay, I play a lightsaber for free.
Yeah, like Sin has always felt like a weird kind of win more card. Like if I'm paying 8 for something, why do I want it to be a 2-card combo? Right, that just feels kind of goofy.
Like if that guy was 6 for a 5/6 and you got to play it for free, he'd be great. But you're basically just giving me an action by doing that I have to already have a lightsaber in.
But I mean, consider...
so in today's review of the legendaries from 6 months ago.
Well, okay, I'll use another example. Again, green yellow villain talking about Krennic. Legacy run. I play Legacy run. Krennic rotates. I murder Legacy run. I deal a bunch of damage to your guys, and I make a credit token. That feels pretty good, doesn't it? Right? I mean, depending on what the board state you're in. So, anyways, I think there's a lot of really neat things, and I'm with you on that Krennic. I think we're going to see more of him. That's one of the better Secrets of Power legendaries that hasn't made a big splash, but I think he's gonna creep his way in soon. I think you're going to see a lot more of him. Okay, why don't we call it? It's been about an hour. We were trying to keep it around here. Let's tie a bow on it and be back in a couple of weeks. What do you think?
Sure, that sounds great.
Awesome. Guys,
you got anything you want to hit or pimp ahead of time before we go?
I'll say real briefly, I'm leaving for Milwaukee tomorrow. So if you're going to be at the regional championship this weekend up in Milwaukee, come find me, say hi. Huh?
You casting or playing?
Oh, I'm playing. No, I'm not casting. They'd have to hire me for that.
Oh.
That did not occur.
All right.
But if you come find me, say hi. I should have more of my little poker chips that I had in Vegas with the logo on them to hand out, and it's always great to meet folks who tune in and watch what we do. Unfortunately, I don't have anything on the button branded yet. We do have the logo, but I haven't stopped to get some things made. So we should work on that before Galactic Trey. We should get some cards or poker chips or something. Okay, perfect.
I'm working on it. I have ideas.
Okay, perfect. We should get something branded, but we'll work on that. I'll also point out that we now have some on the button email addresses. So if you guys want to write the show, we've always had oddly using Buzzsprout, we've had a text thing, but no one's ever used it that I know of. But if you want to email us, drop
hundreds of messages there. Did you just have a chat?
No. We literally it would come to it as a text to my phone. But if you would like to drop us an email, it would be fun. Maybe we could round these up and do mailbag episodes from time to time. But drop us a note at let's see, what email address do we want to use this week, Trey?
Well, we have the one that always works, which is what I think mailbag.
Mailbag
on the button.
There you go.
Dot .xyz.
.xyz. It's not .com. Yeah.
So it's mailbag at onthebutton.xyz. This week
.xyz.
only.
Yep.
I have a new email address. Ian betrayed us at onthebutton.xyz.
Okay, there we go.
And if you send it to that, you're guaranteed to make it onto the show.
There we go.
We'll read that one out.
Yep. Fantastic. So I think those are probably the only two things that I would say, other than the usual. If you guys enjoyed the cast, give us your likes, your thumbs up, your 5-star reviews wherever you happen to listen to podcasts, that sort of thing. What have you got, Trey?
So as we've discussed before, I make a bunch of proxy cards for this game, and I do tokens. I have force tokens. I have battle droid, and I have the spy tokens that you got from me yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I am furiously pumping out new stuff for this set. I want to say I've got 6 new. I've got up on this, so it is kingwoodhobbies.etsy.com. I've got 2 of the new leaders as right now. I've got a Darth Vader from the new set and Saw Gerrera from the new set. I have been sitting here studiously avoiding my real job to make new cards.
Nice.
From the new set. I'm trying to go over them real quick. So I've got Chewbacca, Hera, Director Krennic.
Okay.
And what else have I got? I've got Lando, Jan Erso, Infus Nest.
Okay.
And then I've got credit to. So that's all. I have all of those done.
Okay.
I just have to get them listed, and hopefully by the time this goes up, I'll have them listed. So I'm cranking out these proxy leaders, and they look pretty good. I'm pretty excited with them. I posted the Darth Vader one on the Facebook group for this, and I got some very positive feedback on how it looks.
Okay. Awesome. Good to know. All right, I'll make sure to put that link in the show notes, and folks can go check that out if they're interested. All right, guys. Awesome. Listen, this has been good, and I'm looking forward to the next episode because the show notes that we had for tonight that we missed will be really, really good. And I'll be glad to have Ian back, and we can go over all of that. So, guys, we'll be seeing you in a couple weeks, and we're right on the cusp of rotation, ready for A Lawless Time pre-releases here as we head into early March very soon. In the meantime, be safe, take care, and we'll see you next episode.
Gotta think of a way to ruin this end.
Too late, you just did.